Hello and welcome back to the by Design podcast. I'm your host, Fallon. It's like Jimmy Fallon, but it's my first name. Today, I am here with Mirjana. We've actually been in each other's circles since we both started our online journeys. I'm really excited to have her onto the Prosperity by Design podcast today. So, Mirjana, if you could just take a quick second and introduce yourself, I'd really appreciate that. I'm sure my listeners would too.
Yes, my name is Mirjana Lilac, and I am a digital marketing coach and podcast management agency owner. And yeah, I'm like really excited to be here. So thank you.
No problem.
And I think we came into the online space like around the same time, and we've kind of been through a lot together. So yeah, again, I'm like super stoked to be on here.
Yeah, definitely been through a lot together. And, it's funny that you mentioned that because I feel like all of us who have been involved in, the same circle of people for, the last 3 or 4 years now have something that we've taken away that can lead other people, not just ourselves, but other people also to prosperity. And I feel like prosperity can encompass a lot of different things. It doesn't just have to be one specific thing. So if you had to share one thing to our listeners about prosperity, especially in the online space, considering that you're in digital marketing and you're in podcasting, what would that one thing be?
Oh, about prosperity. That's an interesting one. Okay. Yeah, I have to think about this for a little bit. Uh, so my number one thing that's coming to my brain is that, when we start off as entrepreneurs, we like get so excited and we think like we're going to hit like a jackpot and hit the millions like on day two, right? And we come to the realization like a few months in, like basically like ourselves we have to like convince ourselves that it's not going to happen overnight, right?
Mhm.
This is not an overnight success game, and the people that make it seem like it's an overnight success game like are only showing that part of their success. They're not showing all the troubles and their tears and all the stuff that they went through to get there. So I think there's like a huge misconception as to like what it really takes to get to that prosperity. And you're saying like we're in it like 3 4 years now. I'm still not there where I want to be, right? I'm getting closer with each and every step of the way, but like I still haven't hit that $1 million jackpot. So I think that is something that entrepreneurs need to understand, that you have to put in the work, you have to put in the time. There are going to be days that you want to quit. There
Mhm.
are going to be days where you're going to be crying your eyes out and doubting yourself and saying like, am I right for this? And is this really for me? Right. So that prosperity is something that may come, right? May, and or may not. I don't know. Right. But it's kind of like you just have to keep working at it to see if it'll actually show up. Because if you quit, guess what? You're never going to know. You're never going to know if it was like right around the corner.
Yeah, I was on I was on a Zoom call last week with someone who we also are pretty involved with. Maybe I'll ask her to be on the podcast too. And she had mentioned that when you're in an entrepreneurial endeavor, no matter if it's online or in person, it doesn't matter, one thing that happens is you're gonna fall down and you're gonna keep falling down, and for a lot of people they stay down and they don't get back up, and having the gumption, having the, like, wherewithal, I guess, within you, the energy, the vision to keep getting up and to keep going, I'm sure is going to lead, like you said, eventually. Like, maybe it will, maybe it won't, maybe it's just not that one particular thing, right? Like, why don't you give us an idea of, like, when you say maybe it will, maybe it won't? I know that you've been involved in a couple of different things. You're in digital marketing and podcasting now, but did you start out someplace different?
Yeah, definitely. And I have definitely pivoted several times to get to where I am now because I was figuring everything out along the way. Like,
Mhm.
you go into the online space thinking that you want to do one thing, or becoming an entrepreneur thinking you're going in to do one thing, and then like I said, a few months later you come to this realization like, holy crap, like this is not what I thought. This is not as easy as I thought. This is really hard. This is difficult, right? And then you start questioning, am I doing the right thing? Do I really like this? Do I really want to do this? Or you get into things and you end up hating it like I did. I started a virtual assistance agency back, I don't know how many years ago, and I ended up really disliking it. Like, I didn't like it. It wasn't my thing. So guess what? I threw
Mhm.
it in the trash, right? And I had to start from scratch. And somewhere in between there, I jumped back into corporate because I'm like, this was horrible. Like, I want to go back to corporate, you know?
Mhm.
And then like obviously I realized that too after a few months. I'm like, all right, well that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to go back to corporate. Like get yourself together and figure out what you want to do with your life. And so I had to convince myself like, hey, I really do want to still be an entrepreneur, but maybe that route and maybe what I attempted and tried just wasn't for me. It doesn't mean that entrepreneurship is not for me. It just meant that that route wasn't for me. So here I am back again. And what I'm doing now is taking everything that I've learned from that, like
Mhm.
learning all the systems, the automations, the Canva, the Kajabi, the Wix, like all those platforms and systems. I'm now using that information to be a digital marketing coach, and to teach other people how to do it. So it's I feel like every step of the process, even if it doesn't work out, it's still teaching you something, and it's helping you get to that next step on your path where you're supposed to be going, but you don't know where you're going yet.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You bring up a couple of things here. You bring up two really important points that I know I have also experienced. One has a really big stigma in the space. The other, not so much, but I still feel like it should be talked about. So I'm gonna go over them one at a time. You brought up that you went back into corporate, within the time frame of you starting your online business venture, being a virtual assistant, and then, getting to where you are now. You kind of had that in between that you went back into working. And there's such a huge stigma online that like you can't have a 9 to 5 or you're not going to be as successful because you're not fully devoted to it. Like, what do you have to say to that particular belief when you know that it takes time to kind of you also said it takes time to kind of see what happens and how things are going to pan out, if something's going to work out, or if you're just you're in the lessons for now and maybe you're supposed to pivot, like you said, into a different direction.
So yeah, an interesting idea and concept, right? Because there's a lot of people that have different views on this. My personal view on this is that there is absolutely nothing wrong with having a corporate job or another job going hand in hand while you are getting your entrepreneurial business up and running. And to be fully transparent, I still have an outside job. I'm not
Mm.
doing full time anymore. I have intentionally cut down my hours. So I only do part time now. I'm a daycare teacher. Okay. Like you probably would have guessed if you see me online. But I'm still doing that. Why? Because I still have freaking bills to pay. Like, let's be real, right? And entrepreneurship and the journey of entrepreneurship is not freaking cheap. Like, we have to learn things, we have to invest in things, we have to put ourselves like in networks so we can actually meet people online so that we
Mhm.
can get clients. Like all of my clients have come from networking groups or from masterminds that I've joined or from just random things. Like they didn't just see me on Instagram and go and purchase from me, right? Like I've actually met these people in most places, whether it's on a virtual room someplace, like I said, in some sort of group program or something, or a networking event. So for me, either you have to be fully prepared to have those assets from someplace else to be able to invest in that, right? Or you have to have another job in the meantime that can help fund it, right? And fund a daily
Yeah.
living life, right? Your bills and your mortgage. And I got 3 freaking kids and a house and 2 cars. Like, who's going to pay for that crap? Like, and we're doing construction and renovations, and it's not cheap. And it cannot be all on my husband while I'm sitting here investing in myself and my future that going like, I don't know where it's going, and especially, and I'm going to bring up another point here too, like, he doesn't know where it's going. So he's like, for him, it's like, okay, like, are you just sitting around here playing on Zoom while I'm out like busting my butt, like working 6 to 7 days a week, trying to like keep everything together? And like, like where's the balance in terms of like the relationship with like funds and all of that stuff? Like, I recognize that I have to pay for my own stuff and at least contribute to the house and whatever while I am building my dreams. So I don't see anything wrong with it. And a lot of my clients do have corporate jobs. I'm just going to
Yeah.
point out. to. So it's not nothing out of the norm, but like you said, for some reason, people they either like find some like shame around it, or they have this just these thoughts around it that it's like not a good thing. But if you look at it from a financial standpoint, there's absolutely nothing wrong about it. It's actually the smarter thing to do.
Yeah. Well, there are a couple of things that I think contribute to that stigma, which are the things that I want to get to because you brought it up before, but just to like talk quickly about like working a 9 to 5. I don't have a 9 to 5. I have an 8 to 3 and I still need to get funds because like you, I am also a mom. I have to pay for my car. I have to pay for, Penelope and her health insurance and all my bills and all of the debt that I, racked up over the course of the last couple of years because I have been investing in my entrepreneurial journey as well. But that like you said, I agree. It is definitely something that is going to help you stay financially afloat while you're going through this journey. Now, one thing that I think contributes to that stigma, that bias, whatever you want to call it, is that there are a lot of people who are marketing that you want to go all in because when you're all in, then it's like you burn all the bridges, you're on the boat, you're what's it's not floating, it's like you're sailing away, right? You're sailing away on your business, like that is your business is your boat and that is going to get you to the next island or the next whatever. And I know that we had both been involved with someone who wound up getting fired from her corporate position and then was kind of more or less forced into going full time online. So, one thing that I want to quickly cover and ask with you, okay, this is like a completely real podcast. Everybody knows that it's a real fucking podcast because there's like literally a tractor trailer making noise right behind my freaking car. One thing that I wanted to cover with you really fast in terms of you were talking about how you started as a virtual assistant and now you're in digital marketing and podcasting. And one thing I wanted to cover with you, knowing that people who market create these kinds of stigmas, do you think or feel whatever that we need to solely cover one particular topic in our content when we're posting as entrepreneurs online? Or do you think that maybe we should be posting a variety of content because we're humans and we're multifaceted and we want to share who we are so that people get to know us better and what we do better? I want to kind of I want to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of what's it called? I can't even think of my words right now. I'm a really big fan of putting up content to where like you actually feel it, like, and not just because like you think you're supposed to, right? Like when we do these programs and we're learning about social media and how to market yourself online, like what they used to teach us was, okay, like on Monday you do this, this is your brand pillar, and on Tuesday you post this, and on Wednesday you post this, and Thursdays you post tips, and like it became like very like robotic, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
where you have to stick to that like brand pillar every single day in that particular topic. That what happened was people started to feel like they were being placed in a box, and they started to feel like they had no more leeway in terms of like bringing in any more creativity, or like what if like you just don't feel like posting about that one day? Like what if I wake up on a Monday and I don't want to do my typical Monday motivation post? Does that mean I can't just post on social media, right? Because I don't want to post like a Monday motivational tip like I had in my planner that was listed on there? No,
Mhm.
because what's going to happen, you're automatically going to feel like some sort of restriction or restraint, and you're going to be like, what the hell is this? Like, this is my business. Like, why am I putting myself in a box that I can't even like alter my own content on the days because I'm doing it to like appease other people? So I'm a huge believer, and this is what I do myself. Like what I feel like, that's what I want to post. So I don't go by a specific content calendar, and this is like totally unpopular opinion. I don't have a content calendar. I don't go by only my pillars. I post what I feel when I feel it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's bad strategy. Give me your opinion on that. But guess what? It gets me to post. It gets me to post more. Do I still post a lot of stuff that's within my pillars? Absolutely, because yes, it is needed. Let's be real too. It is needed because people need to understand who we are and what we do, and that I'm a digital marketing coach. I can't be a digital marketing coach and like post 0 posts about digital marketing, right?
Yeah.
I have to make sure it's incorporated in there. But if I want to add a little spice or just add a little personality or something like an event that I went to or something, like I should have that freedom.
Yeah, I really love how you explain that, especially because recently I released a podcast episode that was called The Right to Change, and how like you have the absolute right to do whatever you want. It's your business, it's your content, it's you're the creator. If you feel like you want to go in a certain direction, like go in that direction. And I love the advice to kind of just go with what you feel is going to be right, because if you are restricted or in a box or you're stressed, then that's not going to lead you where you want to go. It's that energy of like expansion and growth versus the energy of constriction and lack, which everybody likes to talk about, but nobody really likes to really give you those tangibles like, here, feel into this the next time you do that, you know? So just to like quickly wrap everything up, what would be one thing that you have learned over these past 4 years that you want our listeners to leave with from this episode?
So the number one thing, just based on our conversation a little bit, is don't feel ashamed if you have an outside job.
Hmm.
Okay, whether it's full-time in corporate or whether it's something like I do, like a daycare teacher. I'm like singing like old McDonald in the mornings, and I'm doing like like my funnel build outs at night. Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody's story is different and
Hmm.
everybody's reason is different. Like I do that because I have 3 kids and I need childcare and I can't fork out $3,000 a month on childcare. So that's my solution, right? So just think about that and know that each person's situation is different. So just because someone else just made that leap and said that's it, I need to go all in my business, and it worked for them, because I guess it will work for other people, right? It doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And that's the same thing for everything in the online space. Just because it's working for someone else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So even looking at the way they do their content, or the things that they do, maybe they're a certain type of coach and they're like exploding online, right? And they're raking in like millions. It doesn't mean that if you decide to be that type of coach like tomorrow that you're going to rake in those millions, right? It just means that maybe they also tried 100 things prior, and it didn't work for them, and they pivoted 100 times just like we did, and threw their businesses in the trash just like we did, and maybe that's where they got to where they are now. So don't always assume that people's success just came overnight.
Yeah, that is so important. And I cannot stress that enough. Like, just because this is somebody's system and this is somebody's program and it worked for them, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You have to ultimately like know yourself, know what works for you, and do what you feel is right so that you can take the right steps towards for yourself. So I love that you bring that up. Mirjana, before we go, where can everybody connect with you? What do you have going on in your world? Do you have like like a freebie or something? I'm sure I'll get the link from you so I can put it down in the show notes. Do you have something like a program going on right now? Tell us where we can connect and where we can work with you if we're interested.
Yes. Well, you could definitely connect with me over on Instagram. My handle is it's Mirjana Lilac 777. And in my bio, you'll see my Linktree link, and you'll see the link there to my podcast, The Resilient Fempreneur. You will see my link to the Backend Business Hub. It's a monthly membership where I literally work with you on Zoom twice a week to help you walk through the back end of your business. So if you get stuck on anything, or if you just want to be held accountable and work with me on Zoom twice a week, you're totally able to do that too. And some people honestly like find so much value in just that, because let's face it, as entrepreneurs, it's really hard to like get off track and like not actually sit your ass down in a chair and do the work,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And then also you will find if you do need help building out any sort of funnel for your business, I do have a very simple freebie for you. It's literally like a 3-page worksheet on just how like you can build your own funnel to bring your leads from cold to hot and ready to buy.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mirjana, for coming on to the show and dropping all that great value and knowledge. We're going to link up everything that you just talked about down in the show notes. And until then, enjoy, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.